Let's talk about college football 26, boys. I want to welcome you to the video. And we are going to be playing college football 25, getting ready for college football 26, working on just some basic stuff that we know are going to work year to year. And I figured what I wanted to do was just talk about college football 26, what we've been seeing from some of the early gameplay that we've been seeing around the YouTube community, and simply just talk about what I think is going to be good, what I think is not going to be good, and yeah, let's go ahead and jump in. So a couple things that I think are going to be kind of overrated in college football 26, at least right now from what I'm seeing. Um, I really think that the or not custom, the defensive stems, I think they're going to be super overrated. And they're, or not defensive stem, defensive stunts. I think the defensive stunts are going to be super overrated. I really want them to work as I get darted up top. Very nice. Um, I really want them to work, but I don't really see, like, I've yet to see a relevant stunt. I've yet to see a relevant stunt. Um, they really, and I did not see any relevant stunts in the Madden 26 beta. I didn't see any relevant stunts in the college football 26, anything that I've seen from college football 26. And so the more that I think about it, I just don't know that they could make them super relevant because of the way that the defensive line kind of engages. They, I'm just not sure. I've yet to see a really good stunt. Now, could there be one? Yes, but what do you have to understand is that the way they do the EA Creator Network now, it sounds like, oh yeah, let's get out of there, Bolden. Oh, come on, Silas, come on, bro. Just not quite enough juice there, but the way that they do the EA Creator Network now, they have the game for like a really, really long time. Well, I have some nice motion plays in this normal flex. Like they have the game for like 10 days. So like for example, if I'm an EA Creator Network person and I have the game for 10 days before the game actually releases, number one, I think that's insane. Um, I think that's crazy. And the reason why I think that's crazy is because it doesn't take 10 days to like get your content together. But whatever, not crazy. But the thing that I don't understand is if I have the game for 10 days and there's a glitchy stunt to be found, I feel like somebody's gonna find it. And like they give the game to players that know how to find stuff like that. Like Decroft, I'm pretty sure he got the game early. I'm pretty sure Civ got the game early. Dubby got the game early. Like some really good like gameplay players that have they know how to look for that. K Mac got the game early. I think even Swolosimo got the game early. So like these are players that like they know what they're doing, and so I'm just like surprised that I watched K Mac. I think I watched him in Beanog, I think for an entire game, and I don't think I saw a single relevant stunt. I watched Civ for an entire game, and again, I don't think I saw a single relevant stunt. And so I just don't. I think that they're going to be. I don't know that they're going to be very good. At least from what I'm seeing right now, I think they have potential to be very good, but potential is one thing, but actually being good is obviously another thing. So I don't know. I'm curious to see, but my prediction right now is that stunts are really not going to be a big deal. Like they're not. They're going to be cool. They might work once in a blue moon, but they're not going to be consistent. The other thing is, I bet you money that one of the best ways to counter defensive lineman stunts is with play action plays, because the blocking is so different on a play action play. They'll like really engage with the they'll really engage with the offensive line and the defensive line. Like it creates a faster engagement, and so I think that'll just basically prevent stunts. So I don't know. Those are some of my predictions defensively. The other one is the custom zones thing. A lot of people basically kind of came into this year essentially thinking that the custom zones weren't going to be a big deal, but they kind of seem like they totally could be. So I'm not sure. That's another thing that we're going to have to kind of see how that all ends up being. This blitz right here at a 3-3, I think it's going to be decent. Day one blitz, LB blitz 0. And basically, all you're going to do is you're just going to pinch your linebackers, and then you can make any adjustments that you want. I think that's going to be a decent way to play defense. The main thing about defense, hey, there we go. The main thing about defense, man, it's going to have to be a switch stick year. But what's interesting about college football 26 is man to man coverage is insanely good. So, with man to man coverage being insanely good, kind of the question that I would have is, are you going to run a man based defense? Because, obviously you want to be able to switch stick, and man coverage is not necessarily like an ideal switch stick defense. For switch stick defense, you really want to be in zone. And so that's another thing that we'll have to kind of see. I think people will be in man to start the year though, because man to man is really really good. And one of the routes you're going to need to have is this curl route. These curl routes are really really good in college football 26. We got to get Arch Manning in here. Let's sub him in. But curl routes are really good. Tight end drags are going to yet again be, I think, one of the better routes in the game. Short post routes are still there. Speed outs to me, at least the way they looked in 26. In Madden 26, speed outs looked like unbelievable. But I will say in college football 26, speed outs did not look as good as as they were in this year's game. So anyways, the pass protection stuff is crazy. There's so many ways to block blitzes. So I'm just anticipating, like in general, I don't think there's gonna be a crazy huge blitz meta, just from what I've seen so far. Could be wrong, but that's kind of what I've seen so far. I don't know. I just can't see when I say crazy good blitz meta. Like there's gonna be a Sin 5 that's gonna be good. There's gonna maybe even be a Sin 4 that's gonna be good. Gonna force some type of pass pro, but it's not going to do like what you necessarily need it to do, in terms of like being able to really give you a way to play consistent defense. We really haven't seen that in terms of like a good blitz, except for the beginning of college football 25 in regs, and that was with the quick jump ability. But the way abilities work now are so different that I think that's going to also change. So anyway, I think in general, offensively, it's going to be honestly a lot about being able to beat man to man coverage. This game, I don't know if this is fair or not, but it kind of seems like Madden 21 esque. And if you look at Madden 21 had it didn't had it it didn't have like a major blitz. Like it had a send 5 that came in against 5 out, but it didn't have like what we've seen, a little bit this year, but not to a like I'm trying to think when last year we had like a really good blitz, but I think it was Madden 23. Like Madden 23 had some pretty good blitzes, but this year it really feels more like Madden 25, where you send 5, um, but then when they block the running back, it's going to be able to pick up the blitz. That's what it kind of seems like. That's the kind of vibe I get. That's not going to be too hard to pick up send 5 or send 6 pressures. And so you're gonna really just have to come back to like I'm gonna have to pick my spots with pressure, um, as opposed to what I've been able to do and what most people have been able to do, where we're gonna send some degree of a blitz every play, which I think is still fair. You still have to send 4, but your send 4 is gonna be more of like a shed defense, I think. Um, so anyway, those are some of my general ideas in terms of like what we're gonna see defensively. I really don't think I just don't think the stunts are gonna be what everybody thinks they're gonna be. I really don't. The more that I watch the more that I watch these gameplay videos, because I've watched every single college football 26 piece of information and gameplay video, and I've seen really the stuff that I kind of expected. It's always funny how this works. Like we always expect to find there's always like this glimmer of hope, but then you realize no, it's about what you saw. And again, because they give them the game for 10 days, like if there was anything to find, I feel like they kind of would have found it. But well, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, there's still potential for it to be a really really good feature of the stunts, but I've yet to see it be relevant. Um, I just haven't. I think that it's more of like a potential thing. Like, does it have potential? Yeah, but again, I mean, we've just yet to see anything. So until I see it, I'm gonna of course I'm gonna try to find it. Um, but I'm kind of like not holding my breath that stunts are gonna just absolutely change the game on defense. I do think in general, um, like I said, man coverage is really good. I actually think from what we saw in college football specifically, match coverage is better. Um, I don't know if it's runnable, but I know that it's better. So we'll see what that turns into as well. But I'm just getting he's literally just gonna run double drags, double drags, double drags. Let's see here. We'll do a little. I just cannot get my adjustments off. The other thing that I was going to say about what we've seen so far in the game and all that is no huddling is insane on offense. You're going to see, like, if you thought no huddling was an issue in college football 25, you're going to see no huddling is going to be a crazy issue in college football 26. Kind of another reason why I do think, though, like, you're going to see a man to man. I really think you're going to see more of a man to man based game. I really, because the thing about man coverage is you don't really have to do anything. Like, I feel like for the most part, it's going to bag the majority of the routes that you're going to see. And that includes like speed outs, which is kind of surprising. I would have thought, slot speed outs in Madden are crazy, but in college football, they didn't seem that crazy. I think in general, it's going to be a man blitz meta, and you're going to have either a two man under type of man to man coverage, or that you're only going to send like three or four, or you're going to have a send five cover zero type of man coverage. So one of the best routes to beat man coverage though is going to be the tight ends on drags or slants. The other thing that's really different, again, what's really interesting is like they add all these new features, but there's only like a lot of it is dependent upon the meta because the meta is going to force you to play the game in a certain way. Unless obviously you're playing somebody that's not running the meta, but if you're playing somebody that at the highest level that kind of knows what works, knows what doesn't work, then they're going to run things that are going to force you to play the game in a certain way. And I think because the game is going to be so man coverage heavy, it's going to really force like more of a crossing route type of game. The auto motions are going to be necessary. You're going to pretty much have to have some level, I think, of an auto motion built within your offense because that's going to help you with beating man to man press. So those are just some of the pieces of it. I don't think you're going to need, crazy pass pro though. Like, I don't think you're going to need to have like you could have essentially just a running back. You're not going to necessarily need a tight end, at least from what we've seen so far. We've yet to see a single blitz that forces any kind of block tight end type of situation. So I think that's part of it. Obviously, more than likely there will be, but it's just certainly not right now. We've yet to see anything that would would scream that you need to have some type of tight end on your offense. I was also going to talk a little bit. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about was just the defensive formations that I think are going to be decent. So I actually think double mug is going to still be really good. If you think about it, what I was just saying about the man to man aspect of the game and how good man coverage is, double mug is certainly going to kind of fit into that mold because it's such a wow. I got burned. Um, oh, that's why he's using this guy. This guy's a beast in 26. This Brown dude, this guy's on LSU. He is insane. He will literally just outrun you. Um, but anyway, I think it's going to primarily be nickel formations, like 3-3-5 penny, 3-3-5 mint, double mug. I really would like to see how it's going to work if you run a 3-4 or 4-3 even. The fact that you don't have base align, it just really removes the ability to run certain defenses, because of how just bad the alignment becomes. Even though you can control the safeties, the thing you can't control is your corners lining up on the wrong side or your linebackers lining up, in positions that you don't want them to be in. And so that's why I think in general, you're going to probably see just a basic nickel defense. I don't think you're going to see anything other than that, from what I've seen. You might see some dollar. Dollar is the reason why you would run dollar is for the switch stick, and so the thing about that is like I think in general it's certainly not gonna be dollar more than likely is probably not gonna be the best pressure this year. Um, I just don't see how it could be this year, just with the way that it has been. But I do think that the nickel sets are going to be like super super good. So anyway, I think it's going to be primarily nickel. Like I said, nickel, and double mug. Again, if you think about the way double mugs ran, if you think about the way 3-5 pennies ran in general, those defenses are pretty good with a man coverage base, because of the slot corners. So I think in general, you'll see some double mug and penny will definitely be up there. I don't know if they'll be the defenses, but they will be up there. I think 3-5 men is still pretty good, but in general, I don't really like man to man based defenses, so that kind of concerns me a little bit, just for the way I play the game. It is just not letting me switch stick like I want it to. But in general, unless the thing that we're gonna have to figure out is can you get enough pressure with dollar, because dollar wasn't even necessarily the best blitzing defense in 25, whether it was Madden or college football. Like dollar wasn't the best, it was good enough. And so that was what made it. That's why everybody ran dollar, is because dollar's coverage though is really 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 good. So that's why they ran dollar. So if we can find like just a basic, um, send four, send five out of dollar that's pretty consistent, which I do have some. I have some ideas for defenses that I'll use at a dollar. That could be that could continue to be the top meta. It's not going to be the fast pressure that you'll get from like a 3-5 odd or 3-5 mint or even double mug, but you only have to stun four. I can see dollar still being that defense. Honestly, it's just going to come down to is there just an unbelievable way to get pressure with the stunts, which we haven't seen yet, or is the edge pressure? Does somebody find like a really good edge pressure type of pressure? Which again we haven't seen that either. So I don't know. Those are some of the big things. Obviously, everything on defense is going to be kind of hinges upon the ability to get pressure. I do have, assuming it works like it did when I found it, I do have a little bit of a way to get pressure on a dollar. So we will see if that's still really good day one. If you're a school member, you're going to be getting a ton of content from me in the first couple weeks of college football 26. Obviously, we'll be doing content all year long, but we're going to have so many ebooks that drop within the first week or two, so we can give you a couple different ways to play the game. And the first primary focus is to find some level of defense, some level of consistency. Defense is always, in my opinion, harder to find, at least since Madden 23. I would say Madden 23 is fairly straightforward, but I feel like defense is always kind of harder to find than offenses. So there's so many offenses that are honestly viable. You could run trips, you could run bunch, you could run normal half close, you could run trying to remember what that other formation was called. It's called like Y off trio close. That's going to be a really good formation. There's a lot of possibilities in terms of bunch. Like you could run bunch spread in the Kentucky playbook. That's a really really good playbook. So there's just a lot of really really good offenses. I do think defense is going to be. It's kind of interesting. I feel like they gave us more features, but the pressure is just really not. There's just not a great way to get pressure, and I think that's gonna really show in the game. I totally got my feet down. That's got to be a touchdown. Nope, it is not. Awesome. Let's try this nickel blitz. I think this could be a decent defense. Like this is kind of something that I think could work. As I totally messed it up. I'll have to try again here. Oh, Brown got me over this. The only thing with probably with cover zero is that's what's going to happen. You're going to get a lot of that in next year's game because people are going to run so much cover zero. But everything I've seen from college football 26 and all the feedback we've heard from the betas and the content creators is actually very optimistic that it's going to be a fun year, which I think is all anyone really wants is just a fun game. I'm really curious to see what the defensive meta is because from where I sit, like I, I don't know if maybe I'm just more of a defensive player now. I just feel like there's so many ways to play offense. Like there's an unlimited. This was interesting. So I feel like there's like a. This was kind of challenging about what I foresee for both Madden and College Football 26. There's like an unlimited amount of ways to play offense. Like there are so many ways that you could legitimately play like pretty good. Oh, nice defense. There's like so many ways that you could play like pretty good defense or offense. There's only like two or three ways that you could play good defense if you really think about it. So, for example, like in Madden, there's really there, and it's been that way for a while. Like it was basically either dollar or 6-1, and really in college football, it's kind of like that too. It was essentially dollar or 6-1, and then there was some other stuff kind of sprinkled into it, but it was all basically the same style of defense. It was either passive pressure with switch stick or try to send everybody. And I think that is, you know, but you can only do that from like certain formations, and there's just so many formations in college football defensively that I feel like are just unusable. Like it's like how do I actually use these? I'll tell you what, the takeoff ability is the most broken ability in the game. Like it really, really is. Um, he was backed off in a third, and I just ran by him. That's crazy. But I think in general, like you're gonna, which is also something I'm curious your guys' feedback. Like I've been thinking about just doing a lot more offensive content because there's so many usable ways. Like you don't have to run the meta. Like you could do so many things and have like a pretty significant amount of success offensively. So I've thought about just doing a lot more offensive content. Like I feel like defense, it's fairly specific. Like you kind of have to have a good blitz. You kind of have to have specific coverages. You kind of have to use her in a specific way. Whereas offense, I feel like it's just you could do so many things. Like there's just so many ways to have it, especially with all the new routes that they added into the game. So I'm curious what you guys think about that. If you want more if you want like me to just unleash and like just give you a ton of offenses um while I'm trying to find the defense, or if you really want me to give you like the best offense and the best defense. I'm just kind of curious how you guys see it. I feel like for a while now I've thought people really they just want more ways to play the game that they like to play. They want more um I feel like that's why I get such a good response to when I post like ebooks or schemes People just want more ways to play the game. I feel like at the end of the day, and so they want to choose like the scheme that they want to choose, but they want everything broken down. I don't know. Those are some of my thoughts for what we're going to be doing in the school community as well. I've been thinking a lot about that. Is like, what can I give you guys in the school community that you actually find value in? I feel like there's a lot of like you could put a lot of fluff into the school community, but what do I put in there that's like it's actually extremely valuable? And I just keep coming back to like the full schemes, full schemes, full schemes, man. Um, offensive, defensive ebooks. I feel like that's what everybody really, really likes, myself included, honestly. So let's see here. I don't know why I went for two. That was kind of silly for some reason. Trying to think of like what are the best routes in college football 26. I think the best routes in college football 26 are going to be curl routes. Curl routes are going to be really good. Any kind of speed motion, which a lot of people are saying one of the better offenses in the game could definitely be cluster. The gun cluster could be a really good offense. The gun cluster offense, what's good about that offense is it's got a really good speed, almost like an auto. It's an auto motion. It has a good post route from mesh post. It has a good short, it has short post, short corners, which is routes you have to have. Like you have to have those in your arsenal. And again, this is what's really interesting. Like we don't have to have them, but like they're very, very good. And the more I think about it, it's like okay, what are the routes that you need to have in your playbook because you can hot route so many routes. Well, short posts and short corners are very, very valuable routes to have. Then the next route that I think is really valuable to have is some type of speed motion, which Cluster has a really, really good speed motion play. So you have the good speed motion play. You have a short post. You have a short quarter, and then really outside of that, you don't even necessarily used to need like return routes. You don't need that anymore. You can hot route return routes. So you can hot route zig routes, you can hot route return routes, you can hot route. You really want as many slot receivers as you can because the slot receivers get speed outs, slot fades, like they get all of the really, really good routes. So, anywho, those are some of the things that I think are going to make. Whoops, I totally hit the wrong button. Those are going to make formations like bunch or cluster or any slot receiver base formation, not necessarily like a two by two tight, but I think normal live close is still going to be really good. I think normal live close. A lot of people are kind of jumping on the train of other offenses, but I think people are just missing the fact that normal live close got better because of the slot receiver stuff. Because now that side got the tight end side and the normal wild close got even more powerful. So I don't know. Those are some other things, but in general, it really I do think it's going to be more of an offensive game. Like I watched K Mac put up like 50 some points, throw for 650 yards against a pretty good player. I think he's playing Mikey. Like Mikey knows, like he knows what he's doing, and he got 650 yards. And K Mac was, which is interesting. K Mac was in Trips tight end. Trips tight end has not been like that powerful in a while. Like it's still good, but it's not like top tier offense. You know what I mean? So anyway, I think curls, short post, short corners. The other route that I'm going to say I think is super important is the fade route that you have like in bunch strong from the play flood. If you could have that route is going to break defenses this year. It really is because of just the way the game plays. That route has always broken defenses, but I think especially in this game, I love that they just can't catch an interception. This game, I think it's so funny. Like you could just throw right at people and it just doesn't matter. But I do definitely think I think those are probably the top five. So my top five, I gotta write these down. So what my top five routes in college football 25 or college football 26. The first one, and I think the most important route to have is some type of short post. I think short posts are super valuable. The second route I would say is like a short corner. The third route is the third route is a speed motion of some type. So like a speed motion, normally like a speed motion with, and it turns it into like a speed motion wheel or motion fade. So some type of auto motion. And then the fourth one is the stock fade that you get from like the play flood in Bunch Strong. That route is really good. And then I think I said short post, corners, speed motion, stock fades, and then I don't know what I would say for the fifth one. I still feel like the return route, like the stock return route in certain plays, is better than the hot routed return route. I will say that, but I don't know what I would put for that fifth one. I'm curious what you guys think. What do you guys think are going to be the best routes in the game? I think again, because your thing is you're looking for routes you can't hot route. That's the big key. Like if I can hot route it, I don't really need it. So like I don't need um, you know, a drag route, for example. I don't need a curl route. What I do need, like I said, like a stock fade. So I think that's what's also going to contribute to like what's the best formations in the game. So the slot fade is so good though, and I also think like in general, just being able to hot route a slot fade is going to be extremely valuable in the next year's game. And of course, I gave up the C. Trying to think. I'm gonna go pull up the playbooks right now. I don't know what I would say is the top five playbooks. Let me just see if I can find it. I'm gonna go look at like Notre Dame. My top. I'll tell you my top five playbooks in the game too. By the way, so I think top five playbooks in the game. A lot of people like the Bowling Green playbook. I'll just put them at five. I think Miami's playbook is pretty good. Notre Dame, Notre Dame's playbook is Notre Dame might be probably the best road to college football playoff team because their offensive playbook is really good. I'm trying to think of what would be that other route that I would say it would be a good route to have. It's primarily the stock fade. I feel like you kind of want to have that, like because it just breaks zone. Like it just breaks so many defenses. I'm trying to think if there's like a the thing about cluster man is it just has such a good it has short corners on both sides. It has a short post, and it has I think that's what I would say some type of slot wheel route because you can't hot route a slot wheel route anymore. And I do think those are really good routes. So I think that would be my answer. Number five, slot wheel. The one little underrated thing that I think is going to definitely affect some people is you can't hot route a flat route anymore. And so but you can hot route a speed out. But the thing about a speed out is like it's it kind of route bounces, whereas the flat will just typically just stay there. The speed out will route bounce, so I think that'll be kind of a factor. But yeah, I think short posts for sure have to be the number one route because short posts. The thing about a short post is it just breaks every defense. Like it's just a great power route to have. But I will also say that the wheel routes. I think that is definitely going to be my answer. Slot wheel routes are really valuable. So like a route like this, like be good at trips, like even from like a spread out like a PA shot wheel, like that wheel route, you can't hot route that anymore. So having the ability to have that, I think is going to be super important. Um, so I think slot wheel routes is probably going to be my answer. Which now we're back to talking about bunch, right? Because we're talking about verticals. I'll throw that away. But those wheel routes will really help with shaded down man coverage and things like that. Yeah, Texas is playbook literally. You just have trips. You don't have anything else. All right. So and then top five playbooks. I was gonna say I think New Mexico State is the offense that I want to run. And the main reason why It's just because it's the best normal half close. Like that's why you run the playbook. But normal half close, I just think it's going to be such a good offense. It's like, how do you not prioritize that? Um, but I would say for me, my number one playbook's probably going to be New Mexico State. Um, but again, the only reason why I hesitate to say that is because it's basically like just normal half close. Like they don't have, but they have some crazy plays in their normal half close that you just don't see. Like they have some really really nice plays. I could see Oregon. I'll put Oregon in there. I think Oregon could be a really good playbook, really top tier playbook. So I'm gonna say New Mexico State, Oregon, Miami, Notre Dame, and then probably Bowling Green. I think are those. Those would be the playbooks. But there was another one. I can't remember which one that was that had a really good bunch strong offset. And it was, but I just can't remember which one that was. Oh crap! I'm gonna miss my kick. Defensively, again, I don't know that anyone has a clue like what's gonna be a good defensive playbook. I feel like at the end of the day, defense is more about like it's not necessarily about plays. It's more about formations because you're going to be adjusting out of a couple plays typically. So probably 3-5 tight again. I would say just because that playbook has pretty much everything. Uh, So anyway, so yeah, I think the defensive meta is going to be man coverage. I don't see, but see, I think it's going to be man coverage for like the first couple of weeks, and then I really anticipate that it's going to shift because people will find good man beating routes. You're going to need route, but you're going to need routes that beat man coverage consistently, which is why I think you're going to need. I That's why I think you're going to really need some type of um, like like cheap motion play. Cheap motion plays are going to be really important because you're going to need something that can consistently break down man coverage. Kentucky is a playbook that is going to be an underrated playbook. People will like Kentucky because Kentucky has the bunch spread formation that's really good. So, yeah. Anyway, those are some of the ones that I would say. But I think you're definitely going to see quite a bit of. I think you're going to definitely see quite a bit of Bowling Green. I can't remember that format. I think you're going to see a lot of people in New Mexico State. I think when push comes to shove, Normal Wife Close does such a good job against switch stick. It has so many ways to attack and space the field that you don't really get from like a bunch. So I don't. A lot of people think it's going to be bunch, but I don't know. I could see it being bunch, but I think ultimately it's probably not going to. I think some people will still be in bunch, like Skimbo's still going to be in bunch, like we know that. But I don't know that like the top level. Like the other thing about Bowling Green that I forgot to mention is it is one of the only it has a lot of really good bunches. I heard Maryland was also a really good book. The problem is they did add bunch offset into the game, but it doesn't have like some of the plays that we're used to from that formation. And so I don't know if it's necessarily that good. Um, they don't even have the other thing about the bunch offset. The bunch offset in general, it just doesn't have some of the same features that the other ones do. Like the bunch offset of the Bowling Green, it doesn't have some of the plays that you would want to see it have. So anyway, I think in general, I don't think bunch offset is going to be the best. Even though it's been so good at Madden, like I just can't see it. Now the one thing that is a lot better on defense is the catch knockouts. Like if you basically the hit stick in general is actually really good. You'll get hit stick fumbles. You'll get a lot of those things. Crap. And I just cannot think about plays. Yeah, I don't think I just don't think the bunch offset is like amazing. I think there's just better formations, honestly. Can I get there? I'll tell you what though, I'm so excited for the improved movement on Madden and how they're kind of aligning these two games. I do think that's awesome. But anyway, those are some of my predictions for college football 26. Thanks for watching. And if you want to get better, join our school community. That link is in the description below.